Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to take you into a story. Most English learners never hear the story of how I learned to speak English when I had no teacher, no partner, and no one to practice with. I was alone, but I still became fluent. How? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share may change the way you learn English forever. I want you to imagine this moment. You sit in your room, your phone in your hand, watching people speak English so easily. Their words flow smoothly, their sentences sound natural, and you wonder, why can't I speak like that? Why am I still slow? Then another thought hits you. I don't have anyone to practice with. How will I ever improve? I know this feeling very well because this was my life too. When I started learning English, I had nobody around me who spoke it. Not my family, not my friends, not my neighbors. I had no teacher guiding me, no partner correcting me, and no environment supporting me. I felt alone with my dream of becoming confident in English. Every time I tried to speak, I froze. Words felt heavy, sentences felt broken, and in my mind, a small voice kept telling me, "You can't do it alone." But one day, something simple changed everything. I realized that maybe the problem was not that I was alone. Maybe the problem was that I believed I needed someone else to start. I asked myself a small question. What if I don't need a partner? What if I can begin alone? And from that moment, my entire English journey took a new direction. I started talking to myself. I started describing my day. I started practicing simple sentences, even if they were not perfect. I started creating my own English environment. And slowly, something beautiful happened. My brain became faster. My confidence grew. My fear reduced. And day by day, I started speaking more naturally. In this video, I will share every step I took, every technique I used, and every habit that helped me speak English even when I had no one to practice with. If you stay till the end, you will understand that fluency is not about people around you. It is about how you train yourself when you are alone. So don't go anywhere. You're about to learn the exact method that helped me speak English with confidence, starting from nothing and starting completely alone. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Beginning. When I had no one to talk to. Let me take you back to the very beginning of my English journey, a time when everything felt confusing, scary, and almost impossible. I remember the exact feeling of wanting to speak English so badly, but every time I opened my mouth, nothing came out. My mind would freeze, my tongue would feel heavy, my confidence would disappear. And the biggest problem was this. I had no one to practice with. Not a single person around me spoke English. Not at home, not in my neighborhood, not among my friends. It felt like I was carrying a dream that nobody around me understood. There were days when I sat alone, thinking about how nice it would feel to talk confidently in English. I would imagine myself speaking smoothly, without fear, without stopping, without translating in my head. But then I would look at my real situation and feel a deep frustration. I wanted to speak, but I had no environment. I wanted to improve, but I had no support. I wanted to practice, but I had no partner. This loneliness hit me many times. I used to think, how can I ever learn to speak English if I have no one to talk to? And slowly, the doubt started growing inside me. I remember one evening, sitting alone with my notebook, feeling completely hopeless. My thoughts were loud and heavy. Maybe English is not for me. Maybe I will always understand English but never speak it. Maybe I am not smart enough. That thought broke me. For a moment, I actually believed it. I thought maybe there was something wrong with me, something missing, something that other people had, but I didn't. But then something changed. Not outside, not in my environment. Something changed inside me. I asked myself a question that opened the door to a completely new way of learning. What if fluency doesn't start with speaking to people? What if fluency starts alone? It felt strange at first, but the more I thought about it, the more it started to make sense. Babies learn language before speaking to others. They listen, they copy sounds, they talk to themselves, they make small noises, small words, small sentences. They practice alone long before they talk to anyone else. That idea hit me hard. I realized that maybe I was waiting too much, waiting for the perfect partner, waiting for the perfect chance, waiting for someone to magically appear and practice English with me. But what if I didn't need anyone to start? What if I could train myself even if I was completely alone? And that is when the concept of self talk came into my life. A simple idea, a powerful idea, a life changing idea. I decided to try it. I told myself, okay, let's start small. Let's speak simple sentences, even if it feels strange, even if I make mistakes, even if no one is listening. And that day, I started talking to myself in English. I remember walking around my room saying, I'm drinking tea. Then I said, I will go here. Later, I said, I feel tired today. These were small sentences, very basic, but for me, they were a big step. It felt like I had opened a door where I didn't need permission, I didn't need a teacher, and I didn't need a partner. I only needed myself. Every day, I started adding more sentences. I described what I was doing, I described how I felt, I talked about the weather, I spoke about my plans, and slowly, something amazing began to happen. My tongue became a little faster. My confidence became a little stronger. My mind became a little clearer. And I thought to myself, maybe I can do this. Maybe English is for me. But then something strange happened. One day, I was talking to myself just like always, and suddenly, without thinking, I said a full English sentence completely naturally. No translation, no hesitation, no fear. A full sentence came out like it belonged to me, and that moment changed everything. Because that was the moment I realized this method works. And in the next chapter, I will tell you exactly what happened and how this small change became the biggest turning point in my English journey. Chapter 2: The Secret Technique: Self Talk That Feels Real. I still remember the exact moment when everything changed for me. One morning, I was standing in front of the mirror, brushing my hair, and as usual, I was practicing a small English sentence. I wasn't thinking too hard. I wasn't forcing anything. I just quietly said, today is going to be a busy day for me. And suddenly, it hit me the sentence came out naturally. No translation, no long pause, no fear. It felt smooth, almost automatic, like my mouth already knew what to say. For the first time in my life, I surprised myself. I looked into the mirror and thought, did I really say that naturally? That moment was powerful. It showed me that my brain was learning. Slowly, quietly, secretly, it was learning. And the reason was simple: self talk. I had been speaking to myself every day in small sentences, simple sentences, easy words. I wasn't waiting for someone to practice with me. I wasn't waiting for a partner or a teacher. I created my own practice space. And now I want to show you exactly how I did it. The secret technique that changed everything for me was this. I spoke to myself in English as if I was talking to a friend. Not like a student, not like a robot, not like reading from a book. I spoke to myself the way I would speak to someone I trusted, relaxed, natural, simple. I asked myself questions. I answered them. I described what I was doing. I described what I was feeling. I talked about my day, my plans, my mood, my dreams. It was like having a daily English conversation with myself. Here are some examples of what I used to say. Good morning. How are you today? I'm okay. I feel a little tired, but I'm ready for the day. What should I do first? Should I study or should I eat? I think I should study for 10 minutes. I'm walking to the kitchen. I'm making tea. I need to finish this work today. These sentences were simple, but they were real. They were a part of my daily life. When the sentences are real, your brain remembers them faster. And when you repeat them daily, your brain starts producing English without effort. This is the magic of self-talk. There was one moment when I understood something extremely important. It was like a deep realization inside me. My brain was not the problem, my environment was. So I created my own. I didn't wait for people to talk to me. I didn't wait for perfect conditions. I made my own English environment with my voice, my thoughts, and my daily routine. And day by day, my environment became stronger and stronger. Now, if you want to use this technique, here is how you should practice. First, speak slowly. Slow speaking is not a weakness. It is clarity. It helps your brain build correct sentences. Second, use simple words. English is not about fancy vocabulary. It's about communication. Simple is powerful. Third, repeat daily. Even 5 minutes a day is enough. Consistency beats intensity. Fourth, talk about real life. Don't memorize random sentences. Talk about your day, your actions, your feelings, your plans, things that matter to you. Think of it like this. Just like babies learn by listening to themselves babble, adults can learn by talking to themselves too. Babies don't worry about grammar. They don't worry about mistakes. They just make sounds, try words, repeat actions, and slowly their brain connects everything. Self talk is the adult version of this natural learning process. And trust me, the more you do it, the more confident you will feel. You will notice that your tongue becomes smoother, your sentences become clearer, your fear becomes smaller, and little by little, speaking English will start to feel normal, not scary. But here is something interesting I discovered later. Speaking alone was powerful, but it was not enough. Something was still missing. To speak naturally, I had to train not just my mouth, but my mind. I had to train my brain to think in English. And when I learned how to do that, everything changed again. Chapter 3, Training the Brain. Thinking in English Everywhere. When I first started speaking alone, something small but powerful began to happen inside my mind. At first, it was only words moving from my mouth, simple sentences I said out loud. Then slowly, those sentences stopped being only sounds. They started to live inside my head. Speaking alone leads to thinking alone. And when you speak in English every day, your thinking begins to shift into English too. This change is quiet. It does not shout, but it is real. One day, you will notice that you are not translating in your head anymore. You are hearing English first, and then your mouth follows. That is the moment your brain has learned to think in English. I changed my whole day into practice without changing my life. While walking to the market, I described what I saw. This street is busy today. The shop is closed. I will go tomorrow. While cooking, I spoke about my action. I am chopping the onion. I put salt now. The food smells good. While traveling, I made short stories in my mind about the people I saw. That man is reading a book. Maybe he likes history. These sounds were not for anyone else. They were for me. I used the world as my classroom. Every object, every action, every small moment became a chance to think in English. Here are simple examples you can try right now. Look at your phone and say in English, "My phone battery is low. I will charge it." Look at a cup and say, "This cup is blue. I drink tea from it." Make mini stories about simple things. There was a small dog near my house. He looked friendly. I wanted to pet him, but he ran away. Ask yourself why. Questions and answer in English. Why am I studying English? Because I want to speak with confidence. Why do I feel shy? Because I compare myself to others. These small questions and answers train your brain to form thoughts in English, not only sentences. Do not worry about grammar. Do not worry about perfect words. The goal is to make your mind comfortable with English as a thinking language. At first, it will be slow. You will feel like you are translating. That is normal. Keep going. Repeat the same simple phrases. Repeat the same short stories. Repeat them until they feel natural. Repetition makes the brain familiar. Familiarity reduces fear. Fear reduces hesitation. Step by step, your inner voice will change. I remember a clear moment when I realized the change. I was waiting in line at a small shop. I started thinking about what to eat later. Suddenly, a full thought flashed in English, not in my native language, and then translated but in English directly. I will buy fruits when I go home. I was surprised. I smiled quietly because I knew that my brain had taken the next step. Slowly, English became the voice inside my head. That simple sentence showed me that practice had moved inward. It was no longer only practice with my mouth, it was practice inside my mind. If you want to reach this stage, follow these steps every day. First, start small. Choose 5 simple sentences about your actions and repeat them aloud every morning. Second, label objects around your home in English, say the name and one sentence about each object. Third, ask yourself short questions during the day and answer them in English. Fourth, make tiny stories in your head about small events, nothing big, just daily life. Fifth, be patient. Spend time every day, even 10 minutes, and do not skip practice. Consistency matters more than long sessions. Sixth, reduce translation. Try to form simple thoughts in English directly. If you struggle, start with words, then short phrases, then full thoughts. Remember, this is a gentle process. Your brain is learning a new habit. Habits take time. Celebrate small wins. When you think one sentence in English without effort, celebrate. When you finish a short story in your mind in English, celebrate. These small wins build your confidence quietly but strongly. And confidence is the next step. Because fluency is not only thinking, it is also speaking without fear. It is walking into a room and saying a sentence without trembling. And that confidence is something I had to build alone, step by step. In the next chapter, I will tell you how I turned these inner thoughts into outer confidence and how I learned to speak in front of people after practicing alone for so long. Chapter 4: Becoming Confident. Speaking alone until you're ready for the world. Confidence is not something that appears suddenly. It is something you build quietly, slowly, and privately. When I began practicing English alone every day, I didn't realize what I was really building. Yes, I was learning sentences. Yes, I was training my tongue. But more than that, I was building a relationship with my own voice. Every time I spoke alone, my voice became less shy. Every time I repeated a sentence, my fear reduced. Every day that I practiced without an audience, I became just a little more confident. And then I began to notice small changes, tiny victories that showed me something powerful was happening inside me. The first victory was simple. I spoke a full English sentence in front of someone without hesitation. It was nothing dramatic. I was in a small shop, and the shopkeeper asked me a question in English. Usually, I would panic. My mind would freeze. But that day, my voice came out smoothly, almost naturally. I answered. It was a small moment, but it felt like climbing a mountain. Then came another victory, talking to a stranger. I asked for directions in English while traveling, and the person understood me immediately. That small exchange filled me with a feeling I had never experienced before, the feeling that my English works in the real world. Later came a bigger step, speaking in a group. I joined an online meeting where everyone spoke English. At first, I only listened. My heart was racing. But when I finally said one sentence, just one sentence, I felt a wave of pride. These small victories showed me that confidence is not built on big stages. It is built in private when no one is watching. When you are speaking alone in a room where the only audience is your reflection in the mirror. Practicing alone removes fear because there is no judgment. No one is waiting to correct you. No one is laughing at your pronunciation. No one is pointing out your grammar mistakes. It is just you and your voice. And when your voice becomes comfortable in private, it learns how to stay strong in public. I realized something important. Speaking alone is not loneliness, it is training, it is preparation. It is the foundation of real world confidence. I will never forget one emotional moment. After months of practicing alone, I had to speak English confidently in front of a group of people. I felt nervous, but something inside me was ready. When I opened my mouth, the words came out clearly. My voice was steady. I did not translate, I did not shake. I spoke, and they understood. In that moment, I knew every minute of practicing alone was worth it. Every walk where I whispered sentences, every late night where I repeated phrases, every moment I practiced in silence, all of it prepared me for that day. To help you reach the same confidence, here are some techniques that changed everything for me. Shadowing. Listen to a native speaker's line and repeat it immediately. Copy their tone, rhythm, and music. Do it daily for 5-10 minutes. Reading aloud, choose a small paragraph and read it loudly. This builds pronunciation power and removes fear of hearing your own voice. Voice recording. Record yourself speaking every day. Listen after 1 week. You will hear improvement. This builds self-trust. Slow speaking. Don't rush. Slow speaking shows clarity and control. Confidence is not speed. Confidence is calmness. Facial expressions and tone. Practice speaking with expression. Smile when needed. Use your eyebrows. Change your tone. Communication is more than words. Your face gives power to your voice. With these techniques, you will build the confidence that grows not from people, but from practice. Let me leave you with the message that carried me through my journey. You don't need people to begin. You don't need an audience. You don't need perfect sentences. You need yourself. Start alone, speak alone, grow alone. One day, the world will hear your voice and they will hear the confidence that you built step by step in the quiet spaces where no one was watching. If this story touched your heart or opened your eyes to a new way of learning, then don't leave without taking the next step. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a lesson that pushes you forward. Like this video to show your support, and comment below. I will start practicing alone today. Say it with belief. Say it with courage. Your journey doesn't begin tomorrow, it begins right now, in this moment. You and I are growing together, one sentence, one habit, one day at a time. Let's keep moving forward. Let's build your English, your confidence, and your future together.